All right. Hey, everybody. It's Brittney and Ryan from the Revenue Agency. And here we are back with another podcast.
What's up, everybody?
What's up? Okay. Ryan says we're dressed real nice today if you see this on a video.
Look like I should be teaching PE this morning.
Well, guys, Ryan and I are here. I'm just going to skate over that. I'm ignoring you. We are talking about really like managing the energy in your business. I think this is something a lot of people don't talk about. Usually people talk about growth, scale, exiting, acquisitions, like all these kind of transactional things. But what they don't really talk about is how you actually feel your energy inside and about your business. And I think that this is really important because a lot of people start a business because they have something that they love to do. They've been told they're good at it, or they just want to create more freedom in their life. So they start their own business, which, you find out real quick. It's like, there's some freedom that nobody is scheduling you or telling you when you can take your lunch or whatnot. But there's a lot of stuff that comes along with starting your own business. So one thing Ryan and I really love to do is help people really love their business while it's growing and generating revenue. And I think life's too short to get into something that you don't love. Don't you think, Ryan? I mean, we've been there.
I think so. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Brittney and I do. That's like, we want to have fun, right?
Yeah.
We want to have fun because Brittney just said it, life's too short. So business can be fun. I mean, we're not joking and laughing. It's like, oh, this is like a party, but sometimes it is. Sometimes you got to get in and get after it. But if you just are like, what am I trying to say? Just like you hate going to work every day, work meaning your business, or you're managing it, or the people that are around you. If you hate it, and what we found is a lot of people do because
or they hate parts of it, right? Like maybe like I love this part, but there's all this other shit that's just dragging me down.
There's so many things in business that need to get done, and chances are you're not good at all of them because nobody can be. There's so many things. So that's what we find is we want to help people have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think that it was a seed that was planted in us probably like 8 years ago when we got into network marketing about really living like an integrated life and creating a life that you love and really figuring out what's the most appropriate or the best vehicle for you to do that. And I think that that really comes through trial and error because I think that you and I thought that it was maybe something before. And it was for a little while. It got us a lot of freedom and opened up our mind to stuff. So at the time it was the best vehicle. But then we realized, through trial and error and trying different things that creating our own company is really what was best for us. But let's dive in a little bit, Ryan. So say, like we talk to, sorry, did we both just get a notification and we're like,
oh, it's so unprofessional.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. So when we go in with new business owners, a lot of times people tell us, I love this, I don't like this. But a lot of times people, I think, focus on the negative first. And so I always love to find out, what do you love about your business? What's going really well? Now, where do you feel stuck or like your energy is just like not good? Or when you see this person, you're like, ugh. Or things that maybe you don't have clarity on. And a lot of times that comes down to the people in your business because you're working with people. We all have to work with people. So, Ryan, would you say anything to that? Like about just kind of identifying those energy leaks?
I think you hit it. Most people focus on the negative because there's so many things to be negative about. And that's just kind of how people are wired. I think naturally is it's like, oh, all this happened today and all this happened today. It's like, well, what's good? What's good about it? What do you love about it? Why did you get into business? So we like to ask these questions. Like, what do you love to do? What gives you energy?
Yeah.
Okay, why are you doing the stuff that you hate? Do you think you have to? Do you think that nobody can do them as well as you? Do you not know someone who can do it? Like we like to get into it and figure out what's going on, because if a person really enjoys what they're doing and it gives them energy, oh man, you can be so much more successful and fulfilled and happy versus like Brittney hates email. I always use that as an example. So it's like, if she could find somebody to get rid of the email, forget it.
I'm like, text me. Do not email me. Like, some people like live in their inbox. I don't enjoy, like, I like communicating. but I like quick communication. Some people, it's like, why are you telling me this? Like, why are you emailing me? Like, why are you even responding to that? Like, that didn't require a response. I think that most people do these things because it makes them feel important. I really do. I think that's why people email. That's why they respond this stuff. It's like, you do not need to tell me that you emailed me. Like, I will see it. I mean, if I don't get back to you in like a day or so, great. But if it's also something that doesn't need a response, I'm not going to respond. Because I don't think that we need to over communicate stuff just because we have nothing else to do. I'm like, if you're doing that, you need to find more to do because there's plenty to do. But now you're slowing me down because you're hitting me with all this shit. It's like, just like, I don't, yeah, that drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. And I just think a lot of times in business, especially a business that's maybe growing, employees and things like that will try to look busy when it's like they don't have a whole lot to do. I need to put my do not disturb on because I'm like, I get so distracted. See, communication.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that this is specific to business. I think this is just people in general.
Yeah.
People wear busy as a badge of honor.
Oh yeah.
The last thing I want to be is busy. I'll be completely honest with you. I want to have complete freedom. I've been busy a lot in my life, and
Yeah.
I don't need to be busy.
Yeah. Well, because I think that busy, a lot of times when people are like, oh, I've been really busy, I think, especially for women, and like, we are busy. Like, our kids have a lot going on, but I think that you can have a system for your time management. Like, right? Like, I am so freaking scheduled, which you wouldn't expect. If you knew me and my personality type, you probably wouldn't expect me to be extremely organized with my time, but I am. I'm extremely organized with my time and our kids' time, and I keep track of everybody because we got a lot of moving pieces. So everything has a spot on our calendar. So even though our calendar might be full, I don't feel busy because I'm not overwhelmed. And I think that when a lot of people say, oh, I've been so busy, I think it's AKA, I'm completely overwhelmed with everything I have going on right now. And so that's how my brain interprets it. And it's funny when people say to me, oh, you're so busy. I go, whoa, like, you don't know my schedule. Like, what gave you that, thought that I'm so busy? It's like, yeah, my kids are in sports. Our daughter's also in band. We're wrapping up the school year. We have dogs, we have cats, we have a house, we're growing a business. Like, we have a lot going on, but it's all good things. And I think that when people say, oh, I've been so busy, it's like a negative. That's how I personally take it. So I really try to watch myself and not say that, oh, I'm so busy. Because I don't wear busy as a badge of honor. I don't wear overwhelm as a badge of honor. Like, I don't think that's a way to like be living your life. There might be weeks, or like, what really bothers me is if I don't schedule something and I forget about it, then I'm like, oh shit. But those are all indicators. I remember when I very first started growing our Optavia business, and Ryan was working 12 to 14-hour days. And I was scheduling calls because I was posting on social media, and all these people were scheduling all these calls with me. And one time I remember I forgot to put it on my calendar, and I completely forgot because all these things were growing. And so I had my life with our kids. They were both toddlers at the time. And then these things, and I wasn't in this routine yet of really managing my time well. And so it felt very busy, very overwhelming, and I was dropping the ball. And I had a mentor at the time that was like, you need to figure out what's going on, and you got to clean it up because you cannot grow like this. And it felt harsh at the time. And I was probably a little defensive because I was like, I've got little kids, I've got this, my husband's working all the time, and it felt like an attack almost, but she was right. And I really needed to get my calendar in order. And she was like, let me show you about time blocking and living and dying by your Google Calendar. And so once that came into my life, and I've probably been doing it for 7 or so years, just like very, just disciplined about that. But I feel like that wasn't what you thought I was going to say, right? I think you were laughing because I think you thought I was going to tell some other story.
When I was knocking on the door.
Oh my gosh. You guys, when I first started building that business and our kids were little, like I said, Ryan was working a lot, and we had these glass front French doors to our office. And we had just moved into this new house that we built, the house on the hill. It was our dream. It was amazing. And I was like hustling, building this business. And a lot of times in network marketing, you're on the phone at night, you're on Zooms late at night, because that's when people are available to talk. And so I was on a phone call, and I think that it was in the beginning where I didn't know how to manage phone calls and like take the lead. And so what happens is people would just talk and talk and talk. And, they would go longer than they probably needed to, but I was like hustling, and Ryan comes up to the door and he's like, get off the phone. And I was like, I can't get off the phone. This person's talking. And he's like, wrap it up. And I was like, oh my God, like Ryan, we've come so far.
We've come a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember I got so mad. I just felt like it was so disrespectful, and I was trying to do something, but then Ryan, he's like, I've been working for 12 hours. Like, we had dinner. I probably missed dinner with our family because that would happen sometimes because I was on the phone. And we got these 2 little kids. Rory was like maybe 2 or 3. Ava was like 5 or 6. And it was just hectic. And I just remember he was like, what the hell? But you didn't understand what I was doing at the time because it was in the very beginning. And I think once the money started coming in, you were like, oh, mommy's on the phone. Do not bother her.
Yeah, stop bothering mommy.
Yeah, so that shifted real quick.
Mommy's making money.
Yeah.
My daddy a tractor.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So that was an interesting time, but I think that it was good because we grew a lot, I think, as a couple through me kind of stepping out of that like stay-at-home mom role, even though I was still doing that. But it was like I was just teaching classes at the gym and doing some stuff, but then like raising our kids, and you were working full-time a lot. And the dynamic kind of shifted when I started growing that business. That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. But anyway, let us help you figure out what you love about your business and what you don't love and how we can delegate it.
Yeah. So I want to kind of talk about a couple things. What?
Makes it so much smoother and more fun.
Yeah. And we work a lot in the personal branding space, the coaching industry. We really could work in any business. We have industry experience in a lot of different industries. But I think what's funny is my biggest thing that I like to do is help the business owner right away love their business more. And a lot of times it's one little tweak that they're afraid to make, but most of the time they know they need to make it. Mm-hmm. And I have found it's usually with people on the team. It's usually people that they're paying that they're not sure that they're getting what they paid for. They're not really sure what the person's doing or if the value is really there. So a lot of times that's what we do is we go, what's your overhead? Who are you paying? What do they do for you? And then we go to work on that first, because that's actually a very easy tweak. Mm-hmm. And then we can say, okay, how can we take what they do, shift it, maybe like find out this person has too much on their plate. This person doesn't have enough. This person's actually causing a lot of problems. And so one time we went into a company and I was talking to some of the team members and I was like, what do you guys do? And I talked to them separately. And then when I found, I was like, I don't think they do much. And I think they're overlapping a lot. And so then I went back to the business owner and made a recommendation. Like, I actually think there's a lot of frustration with this person. I think there's a lot of overlap. So I think that we could probably eliminate this position, reabsorb that payroll back into the company and reinvest it in a different place that's going to actually provide so much more value for you. And that was huge. And that just takes something off of that person's shoulders. Like, is it fun to ever let somebody go? No, but it's a very short conversation. And if it's something that you really want to do, once you get it done, you're just like, oh, relief. Mm-hmm. And that gives you back some of that energy that you've been leaking in this situation.
Yeah. And even for the employee, it releases them to go do something where they're valued, appreciated, because if there's tension for the relationship because the owner wants something and the employee's not doing it, or maybe they don't understand it correctly, it's like there's this tension that's just like this underlying feeling. And it's like, hey, listen, we're going to release you to go do what you need to do better. We're going to do this. Best of luck. We love you. See you later.
Yeah, I think it's really like if you boil it down, because I think people get scared. I think there's a lot of fear. If you look at it even from both sides, right? Like a lot of times people don't want someone to be unhappy with them, like if they quit. But if you're not putting everything into it because you're not totally happy, or the owner is holding on to this person because they don't want to hurt their feelings, it's like something's off here, and probably both sides feel it. They just need to have a conversation. And like I said, conversations like that are uncomfortable, but sometimes it's just an uncomfortable couple minutes, and then it releases both sides. And it's really selfish to stay somewhere that you don't want to be. And it's really selfish to hold on to somebody that you don't want in your company, because like Ryan said, you can release them to go do something where they're going to be valued. Just because you're not a fit at one company doesn't mean you're not going to be a rock star at another company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also sometimes maybe you were a rock star and then it ran its course. I've had that, you know, where it's like I was in, things were awesome, and then things shifted and it was like, oh, this is my time here is done. Like my season is over here. And that's okay. Like it's okay. I think we put too much into that stuff. Like people take things so personal and they get so upset, but it's like, really, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think the days of, and this isn't, you know, exclusive, but I think the days maybe of like your grandpa when he goes to work for you know, the state, let's
Yeah.
say, or, you know, you go get a job with a corporation, you're there for 35 years and then you retire. I'm not saying those days are over, but there's so many different ways to make money now. I mean, I would
Mhm.
say jumping around job to job is great, but like just
Yeah.
because you're not somewhere for your whole entire career doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah. And I think too, it would be like such a, I don't know, not a positive thing to like not evolve and change because there's a lot of people that, you know, they get into a company, say at a certain age, and they're there for 10, 15 years and it feels safe, it's familiar, but they're not happy. Like there is more out there. You can always pivot. I'm a big believer in the pivot. But, anyways, let's get back to these like energy leaks in a business. So that's what like I would tell the business owners. Or okay, if you don't have a team and you're just like running a single man operation, it's good to know, okay, where am I doing things? Because when in the beginning you're doing everything. So I think something that people mess up on is they scale too quick because it's an ego thing and they think I need to have a team so I look like something I'm not. I've talked to a lot of people who are just a one man or one woman show and they're making a lot of money. They might be making as much money as somebody else, but this person over here thinks that they need to have like a big team and all this stuff and they want to appear a certain way. But this one over here is actually profiting more because they don't have the overhead that this one does. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that you should do as much as you can for a while. And then you should start to go, okay, where am I doing things that I don't enjoy? And now who can I offload and delegate those things to? And so you grow in a very systematic way from a systems perspective, not an ego perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important is I mean, I've talked to some people, even good friends that are growing a business, and I'm like, you don't even need to be paying somebody to do that right now. Because it's like, if you're really in the grind and you're trying to create revenue for your company, you don't need to be paying somebody to do something that's not actually actively growing something like that's going to turn into quick revenue. Like, there's better places to put money in the beginning.
Yeah, we talked to. I was talking to a friend the other day who's a business owner, and he did that. He had his little group, and then he tried to find a salesperson. He tried to find a community manager, and then he was doing one. You know, and then it's like he has this team, and he's like, it was so frustrating because I'd have to go back and do their work, or they weren't doing it right. He goes, now we're back to, you know, 3 people, just the main core group. He goes, we're making money
Yeah.
more than we ever have, and we have this frustration is just gone. And
Yeah.
when you can eliminate frustration in a business, it really frees you up to, you know, create more, which is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so that's the thing with going to what's the energy leaks is it's not necessarily like a textbook thing. That's the thing is when you're growing a business, there might be good ways to do it, better ways to do it, but then you also need to take into account like the way that you're going to structure your business might not be in a book because you have to structure it to you. Like if I'm like coaching people and working with them on strategy, but then I also just love email marketing and I love being creative and whatever, I don't need to hire a copywriter. Now that's not the case. We know that I don't just like love it. It's something I can do and I could do it and I do it for other people actually, but it's not something in my own company that I'm just like super passionate about. So that's something that I would rather have somebody else do. But there's no blueprint for this stuff. Like
Mhm.
there's some things that I think we've found are like best practice, like don't scale in the wrong way. Like don't scale wide with your team before you really like make that like vertical scale of revenue because you don't want to be like strapped for money because then if you're tight and you have to pay these people, you're much more likely to like be spending energy going, well, what are they doing? Are they doing this? Is there a return on this? You know, it's just a totally different energy to be in rather than like, wow, we're doing great. I found the perfect person. We can easily afford them. They take so much stuff off my plate. That's a completely different energy to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like for example, right now in our company, Brittany and I are doing a lot of things. We have a few people that work with us, but we have like a long-term plan. We know when we reach a certain level, this person's going to be doing this, and we're going to get this person to do this. And so,
Yeah.
like, we have like a long-term plan. But in the meantime, you know? And so that, I think that's good to have too. Like, figure out what you're doing now that you don't like. And if you're at the spot where you can bring somebody in to do it for you, fantastic. If you're not, keep working towards that.
Yeah. And the thing that's like Ryan said, it's really important to have the vision. So I'm great at the vision, but then I'm like, but I want it right now. And Ryan and our partner, Cassie, have told me like, okay, you're just going to have to do that for a little bit. This is not for forever. So I'm such like a visionary that I'm like, I want the vision, like, but now, and then we're going to do this and we'll make the money. Like I can get really ahead of myself, but they're both better at like the long game plan, staying in structure, doing what we have to do right now. And I'm really happy that I have those people on my team that I trust and I value their opinion because they remind me like, yes, Brittney, we know you don't like doing this, but you can do it well. So you're just going to have to do it for right now, but this is not for forever. And so, and then sometimes on the flip side, I'll tell Ryan, everything's going to be okay. Like we got this coming and this coming because he might be a little bit more like, but we're right here right now. And so I remind him of the vision, you know, so it's really important to have these people like your core group on your team that you trust, that you know each other, and you can really help kind of keep each other in check on these different things as you're growing.
Well, and I think what's really valuable is like Brittney just explained, but she didn't say it, is complementary
Yeah.
partners,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't need 3 Brittneys.
Oh,
Believe me,
God.
we don't need 3 Brittneys.
Could you imagine? Be wild.
It'd be wild. So anyway, that's something to think about too. Like, listen, I'm very strong in this area. Me, as in you, the business owner. I am very strong in this area. I don't know that I need another me because I'm me. I need another like partner who's the counterpart of me because I'm strong in this area. I need somebody strong in that area. And then, you know, it's the old adage of two ox yoke together can pull 4 or 5 times what one can signal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So find somebody that's really good at what you don't do.
Yeah. And I think this is kind of the last point I'd make as we wrap this up, and we'll have to do a part 2. But it's really like, you know, a company, a lot of times what happens is like a visionary can attract more visionaries. That is kind of a recipe for disaster because then everybody has this vision that they want to create. It's not good. It's not good. So I am very much a visionary. I am good at certain tasks. Obviously, we talked about this, but Ryan is very much an integrator. And so that's why our partnership, I think probably in marriage too, but like in business, like works well together. We've had to learn though how to work together in certain ways. And so like Ryan said, you want to have a team that's complementary, but it's also really important that you have that trust that I have to know how I am and how I'm wired. And I have to respect and trust Ryan that he brings a perspective that I do not have and really listen to him. And it doesn't mean that we always do what I want or always do what he wants, but it's, we have to understand that that's a perspective that we don't have and bring all the cards to the table and look at them and then move forward with the best decision. So I definitely think it's really important as you're building your team that you don't just bring on people like you, because then you're going to have a lot of the same problems. You need to bring people in that pick up pieces that you're not really capable of, or you might be capable of, but it's stuff you don't want to do that's not really in your wheelhouse. And I think it's okay to say, I'm not good at that. I've seen business owners that think they should be good at everything. And it's not weakness to say, I'm not the best person to do that. That's not the best use of me. And I've had to learn that. But I think people take that as weakness, but it's not. It's actually very, very strong to say, I know where I'm good. I know my genius zones. That is not it. So we need somebody who can do that.
I think that's a true sign of a leader, like the ultimate leader, right? Knows his or her weaknesses and has people around them that help them, that complement them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's truly, you know, a lot of people talk about ego, you know, but it's like, I think that's truly like, there's a difference between ego and confidence. And I think it's truly like a confident person that can say, I am really good at this, and knowing their skill set and then saying, I'm not good at that, because nobody's good at everything. And that's really okay. And I think that the quicker that you can accept that and then start to put those people very strategically around you that are good at the stuff that you're not, it's really, really creates an amazing dynamic. So, all right, guys, we're going to do a part 2 of this because I know there's so much more on this subject. And I'm actually doing a masterclass on this on May 13th. It's going to be at noon Central. So adjust accordingly for your time zone. I'm going to drop the link to register for that in the show notes. There will be a replay if you can't make it at that time. Register anyways. We'll send out the replay. But I'm going to go 1 hour on this subject of really identifying these energy leaks, how to love your business, loving it again, how to scale in a clean way, creating those systems for growth, and just all those things that we've learned along the way. I'm just going to give it all to you for free in 60 minutes. And so register for that. All right. Thanks, Rye.
Thank you. See
We'll be
you
back.
later, everybody.